Karina, baby, I love you. Mama did her laundry, and it's still kind of wet, so I took it off the line, but it's cold outside, it's not really drying. So today is the 7th, and we're doing the wolf as big as an elephant. There was once a farmer who had a lazy son named Kevin. Although the boy was useless at work, I'm sure he wasn't useless, he was good at telling stories. See, he's amazing at telling stories. Everyone has a talent. I don't care if someone can't perform one way and you think that they should. You can't have too many expectations on people. You'll always be disappointed. So this papa was like, he's useless at work. He's not useless. He's telling stories, and that is work, right? One harvest time, Kevin's papa said, "Stick the hay in the barn before the rain comes." Kevin lifted a few bales, but it was hard work, so he thought of an excuse to stop. He ran to his papa, shouting, "There's a wolf in the barn, as big as an elephant." "A wolf as big as an elephant," said Papa. "I don't think so." "I meant as big as a baby elephant," said Kevin. "A wolf as big as a baby elephant," Papa said. "I don't think so." "Well, maybe not, but it was as big as a lion," said Kevin. "A wolf as big as a lion," said Papa. "I don't think so." "Well, then it was certainly as big as a cow," said Kevin. "A wolf as big as a cow," said Papa. "I don't think so." Kevin thought for a moment. "Well, it was as big as a cat," he said. "A wolf as big as a cat," said Papa. "I don't think so." "I meant as big as a kitten," said Kevin. "A wolf as big as a kitten," said Papa. "I don't think so." "Well," said Kevin, "it was certainly as big as a mouse." A wolf as big as a mouse," said Papa. "If the wolf's that small, it couldn't possibly do you any harm. Now stick that hay in the barn." Oh my. So there is for the 7th, and there is Mr. Kevin, not knowing how big a wolf is. So he's saying an elephant, a baby elephant, a lion, a mouse, a cat, a kitten. He doesn't know how big this wolf is. He has no idea. Making up stories. We used to play the story game. We'd play past the story. Mama would start, or you would start, and we would go around and around and around and make up these stories. It was so much fun because you'd be in the car seat, I'd be driving, and so we'd play past the story because I made sure that you were amazing and articulate. Mama held you the first 6 months. I held you for the first 6 months straight in that ergo. So this way you were close to my chest. Every time I spoke, my words revibrated. Right? They went off of me onto you, and you learned how to communicate verbally so well. Not only verbally, but you learned how to communicate. Mama had charts up, so you got to pick out what you wanted to eat, right? You're like, I'd bring it over to the chart and be like, "What would you like to eat?" And you'd pick it out. And this way you could communicate what you wanted, because I don't know what you want. I'm not you. I'm not inside your brain. I don't know what you want. You are your own person, Karina. You may not think like Mama, and that's okay. You may not think like Papa, and that's okay. You are your own person. You own your own body, and I want you to be yourself. I don't want you to be a mini version of Mama. Yes, you look just like Mama, you do. But I don't want you to be a mini version of me. I want you to be yourself. I want you to think for yourself. I want you to act for yourself. I want you to stand up for yourself. I want you to advocate for yourself. I want you to be who you are inside your heart. I want you to have your own success story, whether that's being a career woman and working outside the home, or being a housewife and homemaker and working inside the home. That's completely up to you. Everything is up to you. This is your body that you own, and it's your life. What you do every single day, day in and out, you're the only person that lives with you every single second of every single day. And I want you to love yourself no matter what. No matter what anyone else says to you, no matter what anyone else does to you, I want you to love yourself. Never harm yourself, never harm others, and try not to have other people harm you. That's how Mama lives her life. Mama protects and enables, I know. But I want you to love yourself, Karina. I love you. And I miss you. Okay? You have a beautiful heart, honey. You are a beautiful little girl. You are amazing. You are amazingly beautiful inside and out, and I love you. Alright, so yesterday we read the golden-headed fish. And what did we learn? We learned that this young man, the prince, saved the golden-headed fish's life and who became a servant for him. He was an Arabian servant for him, right? Or an Arab servant for him. And then he had to go back to being the golden-headed fish because he got a call from home. Hansel and Gretel is next, baby. Once upon a time, there dwelt on the outskirts of a large forest a poor woodcutter and his wife and 2 children. A boy was called Hansel and the girl was called Gretel. They had always little enough to live on, and once when there was a great famine in the land, the woodcutter could not even provide them with daily bread. One night, as he was tossing about in bed, full of cares and worry, he sighed and said to his wife, "What is to become of us? How are we to support our poor children now that we have nothing more left even for ourselves?" "Early tomorrow morning," answered the woman, who was the children's stepmother, "you will take Hansel and Gretel out into the thickest part of the woods. There we shall light a fire for them, give them each a piece of bread, and go on to our work, leaving them alone. They will not be able to find their way home, and we shall thus be rid of them." "No, wife," said the husband, "that I won't do. How can I find it in my heart to leave my children alone in the woods? The wild beasts would come and tear them to pieces." "Oh," she said, "then we must all 4 die of hunger, and you may just as well go and prepare the boards for our coffins." And she left him no peace till he had consented. "But I feel very sorry for the poor children just the same," said the husband. The children, too, had not been able to sleep from hunger, and they overheard what their stepmother and father had said. Gretel wept bitterly, but Hansel whispered, "Don't fret, little Gretel, I will find a way to save us." When the old people had fallen asleep, he got up, slipped out his coat, opened the back door, and stole out. The moon was shining brightly, and the white pebbles in front of the house glittered like bits of silver. Hansel bent down and filled his pockets with as many stones as he could. Then he went back and said to Gretel, "Be comforted, dear sister, and go to sleep. God will not desert us." And he lay down in bed again. At daybreak, even before the sun was up, the woman came to wake the 2 children. "Get up, you lazy things. We are going to the forest this morning to gather wood." She gave them each a bit of bread and said, "There's something for you for your luncheon. But do not eat it before, for it is all you will get." Gretel put the bread into her apron pocket, and Hansel had the stones in his pocket. Then they set out together on the way to the forest. After they had walked for a little while, Hansel stood still and looked back at the house, and this he did again and again. His father observed him and asked, "Hansel, what are you gazing at, and why do you always lag behind? Take care and do not lose your footing." "Oh, father," said Hansel, "I am looking back at my white kitten, who is sitting on the roof waving me a farewell." The woman exclaimed, "What a donkey you are! That isn't your kitten, that is the morning sun shining on the chimney." But Hansel had not been looking back at the kitten. He had been dropping a white pebble out of his pocket onto the path. When they reached the middle of the forest, the father said, "Now, children, go and get some wood, and I will light a fire." Hansel and Gretel heaped up brushwood till they had made a pile nearly the size of a small hill. The brushwood was set alight, and when the flames leaped high, the woman said, "Now lay down by the fire, children, and rest yourselves. We are going into the forest to cut wood. When we have finished, we will come back and fetch you." Hansel and Gretel sat down beside the fire, and at midday ate their little bits of bread. They thought they heard the strokes of their father's axe close by. It was no axe they heard, however, but a bough on a dead tree blown about by the wind. And when they had sat for a long time, their eyes closed with fatigue, and they fell fast asleep. When they awoke at last, they found it was pitch dark. Gretel began to cry and said, "How are we ever going to get out of the wood?" But Hansel comforted her. "Wait a bit," he said, "till the moon is up, and then we will find our way." And when the full moon had risen, he took his sister by the hand and followed the pebbles, which shone like silver, and showed them the path. They walked all through the night, and at daybreak reached their father's house again. They knocked at the door, and when the woman opened it, she exclaimed, "You naughty children! What a long time you had slept in the forest! We thought you would never come back." But the father rejoiced, for his conscience had tortured him for leaving his children. Not long afterward, there was again great security in the land, and the children heard the woman say, "Everything is eaten up once more. We have only half a loaf of bread in this house. We shall lead them deeper into the wood this time, so they cannot find their way out again." The father's heart was filled with sadness as he pleaded with the woman. Surely it would be better to share our last bit with our children. But if a man yields once, he's done for. When the old people were asleep, Hansel went to go out and pick up pebbles again, and as he had done the first time. The woman had barred the door, though, and he could not get out. But he consoled his little sister and said, "Don't worry, Gretel, sleep peacefully, for God is sure to help us." At early dawn, the woman came and made the children get up. They received their bits of bread, but it was even smaller than the last time before. On the way to the woods, Hansel crumbled it in his pocket, and every few minutes he stood still and dropped a crumb on the ground. "Hansel, why are you stopping and looking about you?" said the father. "I'm looking back at my little pigeon, which is sitting on the roof, waving me a farewell," answered Hansel. "It isn't your pigeon," said the woman. "It is the morning sun glittering on the chimney." But Hansel gradually made a trail of crumbs to guide them home. The woman led the children still deeper into the forest, farther than they had ever been in their lives. Then a big fire was lit again, and she said, "Just sit down, children, and if you are tired, you can sleep a bit. Your father and I are going into the forest to cut some wood, and when evening comes, we shall come back and fetch you." At midday, Gretel divided her bread with Hansel, for he had strewn his all along the path. Then they fell asleep, and it was evening, but nobody came for the poor children. They did not even awake till it was pitch dark, and Hansel comforted his sister, saying, "Only wait, Gretel. When the moon rises, we shall see the crumbs I scattered along the path. They will show us the way back to the house." When the moon rose, they stretched and they searched, but found no crumbs, for the thousands of birds that flew about the wood and fields had picked them up. "Never mind," said Hansel, "we shall find our way out." They wandered about the whole night, and the next day from morning till evening, but they could not find the path out of the wood. They were very hungry, for they had eaten nothing but a few berries, and at last they were so tired that they lay down under the tree and fell sound asleep. On the third morning, after they had left their father's house, they were still wandering, and now they felt that if they did not come soon, they must perish. At midday, they saw a beautiful little snow-white bird sitting on a branch, which was singing so sweetly that they stopped to listen. When its song was finished, it flapped its wings and flew on in front of them. They followed it and came to a little house on the roof of which the bird perched. When they were quite near, they saw that the cottage was made of gingerbread and covered with cakes, while the windows were made of transparent sugar. "Now we can have a real feast," said Hansel. He rushed up and broke off a bit of the roof to see what it was like, and Gretel went to the window and began to nibble at it. Thereupon a shrill voice called out from the room inside, "Nibble, nibble, nibble, little mouse, who is nibbling at my house?" The children answered, "'Tis heaven's own child, the tempest wild." and went on eating. Hansel, who thoroughly enjoyed the roof, tore down a big bit of it, while Hansel pushed out a window pane and sat down, the better to enjoy it. Suddenly their door opened, and the old woman leaned on a staff, hobbling out. Hansel and Gretel were so terrified that they dropped what they had in their hands. But the old woman shook her head and said, "Oh, ho, you dear children, what has brought you here? Just come in and stay with me. No harm shall befall you." She led them into the house and laid a sumptuous dinner before them. Milk and sugared pancakes, pears, apples, and nuts. After they had eaten, 2 beautiful little white beds were prepared for them, and when Hansel and Gretel lay down in them, they felt as if they were in heaven. The old woman had appeared to be most friendly, but she was really an old witch. When anyone came into her power, she cooked and ate them, and held a regular feast day. Now witches had red eyes and cannot see far, but like beasts they have a keen sense of smell, and know when human beings are nearby. When Hansel and Gretel fell into that witch's hands, she laughed maliciously and said, "I have them now. They cannot escape me. Ha 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 ha." Early in the morning, before the children were awake, she rose, and when she saw them both sleeping so peacefully with their round rosy cheeks, she muttered to herself, "They will make a dainty dish." Then she seized Hansel, carrying him into the little stable, and barred the door on him. He might scream as much as he liked, it would do him no good. Then she went to Gretel, shook her awake roughly, and said, "Get up, you lazy bones, fetch water, and cook something for your brother. When he is fat, I shall eat him." Gretel began to cry bitterly, but it was no use. She had to do what the witch bade her. There's Hansel and Gretel at the old witch's house, baby. The house made of cakes. So the beast fed. So the best food was cooked for the poor Hansel, but Gretel got nothing but crab shells. Every morning the old woman hobbled out to the stable and cried, "Hansel, put out your finger that I may feel if you are getting fat or not." But Hansel always stretched out a bone, and the old woman, because of her red eyes, never knew the difference, and always thinking it was Hansel's finger, wondered why he fattened so slowly. When 4 weeks passed and Hansel still remained thin, she lost patience and determined to wait no longer. "Here, Gretel," she called to the girl, "be quick and get some water. Hansel may be fat or thin. I'm going to cook him tomorrow." Oh, how the poor little sister sobbed as she carried the water, and how the tears rolled down her cheeks. "Kind Heaven, help us now," she cried. "If only the wild beasts in the forest had eaten us up, then at last we shall have been dead together." "Keep quiet," said the old witch. "Crying won't help you." That morning Gretel, as usual, had to hang up the kettle full of water and light the fire. First we shall bake," said the old woman. "I have heated the oven and kneaded the dough." She pushed Gretel towards the oven. "Look in," said the witch, "and see if it is properly heated, so we can shove in the bread." For when she had Gretel near the oven, she meant to push her in and close the door and let the girl bake, that she might eat her up too. But Gretel knew what the old witch was up to, and said, "I do not know how I am to do it. How do I get my head in the oven?" "You silly goose," said the witch. "The opening is big enough. See, I could get in myself." And she crawled towards it and poked her head into the oven. Then Gretel gave her a shove and sent her right in. She shut the iron door and drew the bolt. Gracious, how the witch yelled! It was quite horrible, but Gretel fled, and the wretched old woman was left there to perish miserably. Gretel flew straight to Hansel, opened the little stable door, and cried, "Hansel, we are free! The old witch is dead!" How they rejoiced and fell on each other's necks, and jumped for joy and kissed one another. As they no longer had any cause for fear, they went into the witch's house, and there they found in every corner of the room boxes with pearls and precious stones. "Those are even better than pebbles," said Hansel, and crammed his pockets full of them. "I too will bring something home," and Gretel filled her apron. "But now," said Hansel, "let us go well away from the witch's forest." When they had wandered about for some hours, they came to a big lake. "We cannot get over," said Hansel. "I see no bridge of any sort or kind." "Yes, and there is no ferry boat either," answered Gretel. "But look, there's swans and a white duck. If I ask her, she will help us." And she called out, "Here are two children, mournful very, seeing neither bridge nor ferry. Take us upon your downy white back, and row us over. Quack, quack, quack." The ducks swam towards them, and Hansel got on her back and bade his sister to sit beside him. "No," answered Gretel, "we should be too heavy a load for the duck. She shall carry you across separately." The good bird did this, and when they were landed safely on the other side, they had gone on for a while. The wood became more and more familiar to them, and at length they saw their father's house in the distance. Then they set off at a run, and bouncing into the front room, fell onto their father's neck. The man had not passed a happy hour since he left them in the woods, and the woman had died. Gretel shook out her apron, and the pearls and precious stones rolled about the room, and Gretel threw down one handful after another from his pockets. Thus all their troubles were ended, and they all lived happily ever after. All right. So that was the story of Hansel and Gretel. Tomorrow's going to be the brave little tailor. All right. Karina, baby, I love you. Let's do "The ants go marching one by one, hurrah, hurrah. The ants go marching one by one, hurrah, hurrah. The ants go marching one by one. The little one stops to suck his thumb, and they all go marching down to the ground to get out of the rain. Boom, 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 boom. The ants go marching two by two, hurrah, hurrah. The ants go marching two by two, hurrah, hurrah. The ants go marching two by two. The little one stops to tie his shoe, and they all go marching down to the ground to get out of the rain. Boom, 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 boom. The ants go marching three by three, hurrah, hurrah. The ants go marching three by three, hurrah, hurrah. The ants go marching three by three. The little one stops to grab the key, and they all go marching down to the ground to get out of the rain. Boom, 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 boom. The ants go marching four by four, hurrah, hurrah. The ants go marching four by four, hurrah, hurrah. The ants go marching four by four. The little one stopped to shut the door, and they all go marching down to the ground to get out of the rain. Boom, 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 boom. The ants go marching five by five, hurrah, hurrah. The ants go marching five by five, hurrah, hurrah. The ants go marching five by five. The little one stops to take a dive, and they all go marching down to the ground to get out of the rain. Boom, 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 boom. The ants go marching six by six, hurrah, hurrah. The ants go marching six by six, hurrah, hurrah. The ants go marching six by six. The little one stops to pick up the sticks, and they all go marching down to the ground to get out of the rain. Boom, 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 boom. The ants go marching seven by seven, hurrah, hurrah. The ants go marching seven by seven, hurrah, hurrah. The ants go marching seven by seven. The little one stops to look at the heavens, and they all go marching down to the ground to get out of the rain. Boom, 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 boom. The ants go marching 8 by 8, hurrah, hurrah. The ants go marching 8 by 8, hurrah, hurrah. The ants go marching 8 by 8. The little one stops to close the gates, and they all go marching down to the ground to get out of the rain. Boom, 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 boom. The ants go marching 9 by 9, hurrah, hurrah. The ants go marching 9 by 9, hurrah, hurrah. The ants go marching 9 by 9. The little one stops to 9. 999. Ooh. Little one stops to, I don't know. But we get up to 9 baby cakes. I used to sing you that song as we used to walk along the streets. I used to have you on my back in an ergo, and we used to go boom, 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 and you would laugh. You would laugh as we take a walk. I miss you. I miss you so much. I miss you so much, my baby. I think about you every second of every day. I'm just trying to get back to you. I love you, and I miss you, and I can't wait to see you. I can't wait to hold you. I can't wait to take you places. Mama never wanted to leave your side. I never wanted to leave your side. Not even for a second. I didn't believe that you should even have a sleepover until you were 7. Because I don't believe that babies should leave their mama's side until they're 7. Because when you're 7, you're a little bit bigger, you're a little bit more articulate, you get, like, you know, you're able to tell me everything and anything. You're able to when you're 2 as well, but you're just too little to leave your mama's side at 2. You were too little to leave my side. I love you, baby. I love you so much. I love you so much. And I miss you. Let's do a tisket, a tasket, a green and yellow basket. I sent a letter to my love, and on my way I lost it. I lost it, I lost it. A little boy picked it up and put it in his pocket. A tisket, a tasket, a green and yellow basket. Oh, the grand old Duke of York had 10,000 men. He marched them up to the top of the hill, and he marched them down again. And when they were up, they were up, and when they were down, they were down. And when they were only halfway up, they were neither up nor down. I love you, baby. I love you so much, and I miss you. I miss you. Alright, let's do Lila Tove, honey. Lila Tove, and good night to you. Lila Tove, may your dreams come true. We sing Lila Tove, may Israel protect you throughout the night until we reach the morning light. Karina, baby, I love you. I miss you. I can't wait to see you, honey. I love you. Like Papa always used to say, Mama's Papa's sun, Papa's my moon, and you are our rainbow baby. And Mama and Papa just need to find a way to work together. Okay, we will. This isn't going to go on like this forever. I promise you. It can't. And if it does, I'll read you stories every single day for the rest of my life. Over the internet until you could call me. And you're eventually going to have the choice. Papa can't control this forever. I love you, my angel. I love you, baby.